Hey, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to our Tuesday night live broadcast. If this is your very first time joining us, welcome to the channel. If you are here every single week or you are watching the videos we have multiple uploads that go up, multiple videos that go up every single week talking about succeeding, especially when it comes to weight loss in your health. And this week we have a special treat for you. If you might be like, Carmen, why are you off center? Why do you have this other chair sitting there? Well, I'm going to tell you in just a second. If you have been following on Wednesdays, ever starting in January, we launched a show called The Biggest Transformation. And on that show, we had a season 1 cast. And there was 7 people who were journeying through a weight loss journey, overcoming bad habits that have kept them stuck, overcoming obstacles, overcoming fear, overcoming a past and a history of struggling with their weight. And season 1 just ended literally a couple weeks ago, and we crowned the very first winner of The Biggest Transformation. Since then, we've started season 2. We have a brand new cast of 8, where season 1 is actually mentoring season 2. So freaking excited. And that does air every single Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the channel. But tonight, we have the honor and privilege of being able to interview the winner of season 1. And so without further ado, let me bring on the winner of season 1, Mrs. Karen. Come on in, Karen. And the crowd goes wild. Woo! Welcome to the channel.
Thank you.
Karen, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to interview her. We're going to ask her some questions. We're going to let her answer those to the best of her ability. And you were the winner of season 1 of The Biggest Transformation.
I was.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so she started, now The Biggest Transformation, the competition portion was 12 weeks. And your very first weigh-in, you weighed in at 218 pounds. And total in those 12 weeks, you lost 53.7 pounds, a total of 24.6% of the mass of your body is what you lost in 12 weeks. And so just to make it clear for all y'all, in case you're not good at math in public like me, that means you lost 53.7 pounds in 84 days.
Yes. Crazy, huh?
So let's rewind, 15, 16, 17 weeks ago, when you first heard about the biggest transformation, because you've been trying to lose weight and struggling with different diets and things forever. Ever since I've known her. This, in case you don't know, this is my mom. And my mom, you topped the scale at how much?
Originally?
Yep.
284 pounds.
284 pounds, a size
22, 24.
A size 22, 24. And I can always remember my mom being bigger, fluffier, however you want to say it. I can always remember her being on some sort of diet or thingamabobber or Weight Watchers or going to the medical food clinic or reading a book on the South Beach diet or Atkins or, the list goes on and on. So, and after watching me lose weight several years ago, you started your own weight loss journey. And
Yes.
In that weight loss journey, she lost 148 pounds in just over a year. But like most of us, we lose weight. And we have a goal of getting to this destination of being done. And we don't take care of all of the things that cause emotional eating, all of the things that cause us to overeat, all of the things that cause us to lose it and then gain it back. And so she relapsed a little bit and she gained some of it back. And for a little bit, she was kind of shameful of that and kind of like, oh my gosh, because she entered in this competition where people saw her before and afters. So it wasn't like she quietly did this. This was all over social media and people knew that she had lost weight. And so explain to me the thoughts in your head between the time that you ended that competition and you started The Biggest Transformation. When you knew you were gaining some weight back, when like that whole struggle, that whole emotional thing, that whole thing.
It's funny because I had lost 148 pounds before. And then when I found myself on the scale at 218 again, this part of me was like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't know what to do. I keep gaining weight. And it was like, duh, I know exactly what to do. But what I needed was accountability. And I didn't have that, you know. I mean, I'm at home. I'm not, you know, I see my daughter every day, but, you know.
She don't live with me.
And, you know, like when I went to their house, I always ate well, but I just had a lot of problems with night eating and just hiding, you know.
Yeah.
Hiding.
And so you heard, so we had conversations about, hey, what are your goals? Because, you know, prior to losing the weight the first time, she had struggled with diabetes, cancer, IBS, I'm missing one.
High blood pressure.
High blood pressure. She had struggled with those things. And so I would have conversations with her like, Mom, like those things were weight induced. Like they're going to come back because she's my mom. She's a grandmother. She has 5 grandbabies. And it's like, listen, I know your goals. I know you want to be around for a long time. You're gaining this weight back. You're struggling with your hip again. You're struggling with this again. So we had those conversations and, you know, but the truth is until, and I, you know, we all know this from personal experience, until we're ready to make that decision, nobody can push us to do it. We can know the right thing to do, but knowing the right thing to do and doing the right thing are 2 different things. And so you first heard about the biggest transformation coming out, and I was talking about it, never thinking she would want to do it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is going to be huge. I'm accepting applicants. And all of a sudden she says,
I asked if I would be able to fill out an application. In fact, I don't even think, if I remember correctly, you were talking about all this and I kind of said nothing. And I went home and filled out an application, is what I did. And, you know, and my mind, because understand that every time she would talk to me about goals, I would run away and hide. And knowing, you know, that she was absolutely right, but that was my MO, was hiding. So when I filled it out, then I thought, oh, I'm probably not going to get accepted. You know, I already had a chance to do this. And I know there's a lot of people out there that wanted to do this, but I thought, I need to do this. Not realizing, well, I'll let her say. So, all the changes.
So she submits the application, and no, I did not think in my wildest, like I knew the biggest transformation because of the level of accountability, because of the ability for me to be able to work with them on such an intimate level, on such a one-on-one basis, the level of commitment they were having to make with their time, financially, all of that. Like I knew that the results were going to be off the chart, but I never expected her to apply, right? Because like I also knew, and I also said, this is not your good job, Carmen, that's coming to play. This is your get your butt kicked, like, and I'm her daughter. And so not very often can somebody like receive that from somebody so close to them. And so I saw her application. I remember seeing your application and I said to my husband, oh my goodness, my mom applied. And he's like, okay. I'm like, I don't want to fight with her. And she's not going to get a free pass because she's my mom, which means if she needs to be called out on something, she's going to get called out. And because she's my mom, sometimes there can be, you know, like a lack of listening, a lack of all that. And so it was like, I don't know whether her application was the one I was like, I don't know, how's this going to work? But I knew that if she got in, and I knew that if she could commit, that it was going to be life-changing for her. And obviously she's on here because she not only got accepted, but she wound up winning the entire season. She wound up losing the biggest percentage of her body. And I remember having the conversation with her of, if you're going to get in this and you're going to do this, I need you to do it. Like, I need you to lead from the front and I need you to do this thing. And she's like, I will, I promise. And so you got in and lost 53.7 pounds in 84 days. Tell me about that. That's a pretty big deal. 218 pounds to 164 pounds.
Well, let me tell you, Carmen really worked with us. And there was a lot of self-discovery, things that I had buried for years and years and years. And so all of that, I humbled myself and I thought, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it this time. And it doesn't matter. She's my daughter. Look at her. She knows. So I prayed for this and I cried when I got accepted because I didn't think I was going to. But I'm also a person that likes a challenge. And we had 6 other amazing people that totally challenged me and, made me cry and made me laugh and made me vulnerable. Yeah, all those things. It was so different this time, so different because I did not come to terms with everything that I had buried the first time. And when I lost that weight, okay, it was done. I got on stage, all this, and then bam.
When you don't deal with stuff, it comes back. We were just on a coaching appointment last Sunday, and I was talking about a magnolia tree that we had in our front yard. And my husband decided to chop it down last year, and he chopped it off about 6 inches above the ground. And I walked out there the other day and guess what's growing back? That freaking magnolia tree. Why? Because when you don't deal with the stuff under the surface, when you just deal with the surface level stuff, it'll always come back. When you stuff things under the surface and you pretend that it doesn't exist, or you pretend that you don't struggle with things that you struggle with, they'll always come back. And so I can remember, and I know you can too, the first time her losing the weight. And I want to talk about this because I feel like this is such an inspiration because so many of us have struggled with losing and gaining. Mm-hmm. And when we lose and gain and people see us smaller and then we gain the weight, we deal with shame and we deal with, oh my goodness, how can I let myself go there again? And, we just hide all over again. And so I can remember when you were losing weight that first time and she would, or even after she had lost 148 pounds, and we would talk about her gaining weight. Whenever she was in front of me, she would eat like the health queen. And I know you're okay with this, but I want us to be totally real here because this is going to inspire those that have lost hope and that have done those things because she is not alone. We've all done it, mm-hmm. But most of us pretend like we don't do it. And so I remember having those conversations where I would say, Mom, you're gaining weight, but you're only eating salad in front of me. And she would say, well, I'm not eating that bad. It's just sometimes. And I would say, well, we never gain weight for what we do sometimes. It's what we do most of the time, which means you're over exceeding your calories most of the time. And so how was that? Figuring that out that, hey, even though I think I'm eating healthy, I'm overeating. What was that whole self-discovery thing for you like?
There was a lot of soul searching. And again, Carmen digging deep and having that aha moment of what was going on. And all my life, I have snacked, especially at night. I had this insatiable, sit in front of the TV, whatever. I would snack. And until we dug deep, I really had no idea. You sometimes, you were talking the other day about driving, but not paying attention and not realizing where you've been. Have you ever been on your phone and done that? And then before you know it, you're at your destination. You don't remember anything else. I have. But, yeah, I just never thought of it. And even when I was eating at night, snacking, I was trying to make good choices, but clearly I didn't. So yeah, that moment when of self-discovery and self-sabotage and digging deeper into that.
And self-sabotage is something that I know that you've dealt with. Mm-hmm. And So let me go here. Why do you think, because let me just say, as a bystander, this is the healthiest emotionally that I've ever seen you. And I was telling my husband that the other day. I said, this was the healthiest I've ever seen my mom emotionally. And he said, I would completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. And so what do you, looking back, what was different about your 12 weeks in the biggest transformation than anything else you've ever done, tried, been a part of?
It was bringing the truth out, dealing with all the emotional baggage that I have had all my life from the time I was a child. Dealing with all of that. Yes, I lost 148 pounds the first time, but this time was different because this time I was doing it for me. I think the first time I did it, I saw your results. I had so much support and everybody saying, yes, you can, yes, you can. So, again, it was that I didn't want to let anybody down. But deep inside, I was always letting myself down because I was always worried about what everybody else thought.
So give them an example. You're mentioning digging deep. And for the person watching, they're like, okay, what does that mean? So give them an example of what you mean by that.
Okay, so we had one where we had to go back and anything that anybody had ever said to us, that was hurtful. And for me, oh my gosh, it was going way back to my childhood. And, my mother, not that I was obese, but she always had me get on the scale. And instead of talking positive to me, she never did that. If I didn't lose any weight or had gained some weight, she just, what's the word I want to use? I felt disgraced. I felt bad. I felt like I was not worthy. I felt like I had not done what I'm supposed to do. And, it started there. And it just escalated. But when I thought about that and how that had spiraled all out of control all my life, because I hid my weight. I lied and everything else. I mean, bottom line, I lied. So
to me, everybody else too.
Right. I did. And again, until that aha moment of, oh my gosh, you have done this all your life. And until I was able to say it for everybody to hear and bring it up, something that I had buried so long ago. That was just one instant.
Sure. Well, and I remember that call. I remember that meeting because it's so powerful. They had to go back and they had to, remember and make a list of every hurtful thing that anybody had ever said to them about their weight. Because what happens is when someone says something hurtful, we take those words and we use it as a weapon against ourselves. Mm-hmm. And over time, we start to feel ashamed. We start to hide. We start to cover up. We don't want to let people know what we weigh. We put on the Spanx and the layers and all those things because if we think if we can just hide enough, then we won't feel that way. It's like a self-protection mechanism. We're trying to protect ourselves from being hurt. However, what we bury always has a way of sprouting up. You can't bury seed under the ground and not have a root come out of it. And so what we bury always sprouts, always. And so here you take that from the time you were growing up, a mom who shamed you for being overweight, a mom who, even though she was doing her best, didn't know how to come alongside you and support you.
Right.
And burying that. So what did that constantly look like? Well, it looked like somebody who tried their best, but didn't believe they could do it.
Right.
Somebody who didn't believe in themselves, somebody who didn't believe they were worthy, somebody who, and so every single time she would start doing something good, she would self-sabotage it. And so watching you be able to overcome that and watching, here was the biggest thing that I got to see you do this in these 12 weeks. She stopped, she said, hey, I'm a good person, but yes, I lied. And she stopped doing that. And when she did do it, she would come in and say, hey, she would come into our intimate group and be like, I just had peanut butter and jelly, and then I had this and this, and then I did this, and then I made this sandwich and it had this on it, and I know it wasn't supposed to, so I took a bite and threw it away. For the first time in a long time, you were not only honest with the things you were doing good, but you were honest in the areas that you were messing up as well.
Yep, I owned it.
Yep.
And I owned it proudly, because this group, they weren't going to sabotage me. They weren't going to say bad things to me. They weren't going to do any of that, because guess what? They all had the same problems. And it was so wonderful. Sometimes you think you're by yourself and you're on this journey all by yourself and you're the only one that does all this stuff. And being put with this group of people, and I had so many like, oh my God, and we cried together. And they were just like me, people just like me that had the same issues, the same problems, everything. So yeah, that's why I was able to do that.
Well, and so often we do feel like we're alone. We feel, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Why do I keep giving in to the peanut butter and jelly? Why do I keep giving in to the potato chips? But when she was put in that environment and she actually realized, no, I'm not struggling alone. We're all silently struggling with these same things. And one person would say something, and then another one would come in and be like, oh my goodness, me too. Mm-hmm. And so for the first time, and maybe your whole life, you realized that you weren't alone.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And there was nothing wrong with you for having these thoughts. There was nothing wrong with her. These were normal thoughts that everybody else struggles with and deals with, that she thought there was something wrong with her, that she couldn't do it, that she was alone. And I think it was that realization to realize that I'm not alone.
No.
This is more normal than I thought it was.
And that was just crazy. I wasn't alone. These people struggled just like I did every day. And some of them were she talks about sandwich. So one day I go home and I make this salami sandwich. I love salami, right? And I put my mayonnaise on it. And I had good bread, though. It was 45 calories. And so I'm making this. And kind of, Carmen does this thing, the gray zone. And I kind of, in the back of my head, kind of knew that. Well, one of the girls came on and she admitted what she had done, and then the highlight of her good day. And I think I took a bite out of the sandwich and I thought, oh, I was convicted. She didn't call me out, but she did call me out, not knowing it. So I took that wonderful, delicious Italian salami sandwich with mayo on it. I think it had cheese too. And I threw it in the garbage can. I have never done that before, okay? Never. I may have taken more bites and then maybe put a teeny tiny bit of it. No, I threw the whole thing away.
So we're talking about the emotional part. Was it fun? Was being in the group fun? Were these 53.7 pounds? Was it funner to lose than the way you've lost before?
Yes, because it was easier. It came off. I was challenged by this group every day. I was challenged by our coach that made us do stuff every day. And yeah, it didn't seem like work. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong, losing weight, you got to put your mind to it, and no matter what. And there was times that I wanted something, and the beauty about the group is I was able to go on there. One night, it was late. I didn't think anybody was on. I was craving a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, And lo and behold, somebody was up. And I needed that accountability right then and there. And they jumped on and talked me out of it. And I drank my water and went to bed.
So amazing. When I look at the results and I just look at, obviously you've overcome so much physically, so much mentally, so much emotionally in such a short amount of time. That was really the most like, wow, look at all the things that you've overcome and look at how much you've changed just emotionally, mentally in the past, 84 days. That's kind of crazy. And so as the winner of season 1, have a trophy for you.
Aww.
It says the biggest transformation, season 1 winner.
Oh my gosh.
And her favorite color is blue. And so this is handcrafted glass and the biggest transformation, season 1 winner.
Aw, thank you, Carmen.
Congratulations. So very proud of you. You can display that proudly and it's pretty.
I'm going to have to, not in my office. It's got to be somewhere.
And it's heavy, isn't it heavy?
It is. It is.
I had that sitting over here covered up with a towel. So I didn't want her to see it. She didn't know she was getting that today. So in closing, I want you to talk to the person on there that has struggled with their weight, that struggled with feeling alone, that struggled with maybe this is just their lot in life and they're meant to be this way. I want you to speak to them for a minute. And what would you say to that person right now watching who's lost hope, lost inspiration, doesn't know where to start and what to do?
There's always hope, guys. I used to be a firm believer that there wasn't, but there is. It is, I am not a perfect person by any means of the imagination. You may look at me and say, yeah, but she does and she's that. Oh, no, I'm not. I am a weakling, but I have gotten stronger through dealing with my, with my emotions, with everything that comes with it. And I can honestly say, if I can do it, you can do it. And I am 65 years young. So you ladies out there and you gentlemen that sit there on that, and maybe you're eating chips and watching this right now. I'm here to tell you that yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. I am nobody special at all. Well, I am, but I'm not. You know what I mean? But I would say that seek somebody out, get the help. Here's a perfect person right here. Not only did we do this, but we have groups every month that I am in with a bunch of other amazing people that all struggle like I do. There is no magic wand. I am going to struggle the rest of my life, but the decision has been made that who I want to be, which is a go-get-em grandma. I don't want my diabetes to come back. I don't want any of that to come back. So all I can do is encourage you and tell you that yes, you can. By reaching out to a coach, reaching out to Carmen. She's on every week. She will get you started on the right path, and or anybody, but just don't sit there and say, I wish I could. I don't know what to do, because I'm here to tell you that yes, you can.
And at the end of the day, she's a woman who refused to give up. Has she had setbacks? Yes, but welcome to the club. We all have. But she's somebody who maybe got knocked down, but refused to stay down. And so if you're out there watching this, start somewhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start with something. And if you don't have somebody to work with, if you don't have somebody who believes in you, leave me a comment. I would love to at least let you know what we have going on with our coaching program. And if it's a good fit, great. But at some point, it doesn't matter who believes in you. You've got to believe in you. Mm-hmm. And so thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being on tonight. And congratulations to our season 1 winner, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make sure to smash that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Ring the notification bell. In fact, you can do it all in less than 3 seconds. So thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, with another episode of The Biggest Transformation, Season 2. And we'll be back live next Tuesday night. Bye.